back in conversation with the great Dennis Bovell, and I've got to say the great because he's been honoured by Maya Motley. He's been honoured by the world of reggae. You tell me, Dennis.
Yeah, well, one day I had a phone call from someone saying, "We're thinking of presenting you to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth with the thought of giving you the MBE." Before that, Neil Fraser had said to me, "You're going to get an MBE."
Right.
I said, "Neil, how did you know that?"
Good.
He told me, I said, "Who told you that?" He said, "The Queen." I went,
when we finish this, when we finish, we'll this is yours. No, the rest of this is yours.
Thank you. I said, "Do you know Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth?" He went, "Yep." And she told me, "You're going to get an MBE." So I was like, "Neil, Gwe." Right? And so when I had the telephone call, they said they were thinking of giving me this accolade. I thought it was a hoax.
Right.
Because before I got that call, Neil had said that to me. And I didn't believe that he knew Her Majesty. So when they said, "We're going to, present you to Her Majesty to get this accolade," and I was like, yeah, give me. Because I was working with Benjamin Zephaniah.
I was going to come to that because when I spoke to Benjamin,
he said,
"You don't want that, man. Look what them do to he."
Right. So I was working with him in Spain on his album Naked.
Yeah.
At the time. And I was told by the producer, "Benjamin's going to get that, right?" And Benjamin went, "Who, me? I'm not taking that. Don't even come with that. I'm not having it."
Staunch, man. And I love him for it.
And it was a big thing when he refused it.
It was?
So being told that I was going to be presented with that, it was mixed feelings.
Yeah.
The person said to me, "We're going to publish it in the Royal Gazette." And all that. I was like, yeah, do it. Because I was thinking, this ain't real.
Yeah.
And one Saturday morning, I get a call from Linton Kwesi Johnson. And he says, "Congratulations." I'm going, "Congratulations for what?" He said, "On your MBE." I'm going, "How did you know about that?" He said, "It's been published in the Royal Gazette today, this morning." And it was Her Majesty's last birthday honours. And I could, bloody hell, this is real. It's not a hoax.
Yeah.
And then because COVID was looming, they gave me a choice. They said, either you can come to the palace and bring one person with you, or we can deliver it to you.
They always say that.
We can deliver it to you, and then you can come to the birthday, the garden party, and bring 3 people with you.
Yeah.
Now, for me, that was more palatable.
Palatable, yeah.
They
got nice ice cream, haven't they?
Yeah, and the sandwiches were nice too.
Yeah.
And so I told my mum, I said, "Mum, they've offered me this MBE." And her response was, "You're taking that."
Yeah.
Right.
We got to listen to our mums.
You're taking that.
Our babes and sons.
All right, I'm taking it, right? Yeah. And when I went to receive it, they said, "No, you can't come to the palace with, all these people. Just one person." I thought, who am I going to bring? Because my wife wanted to come.
Yeah.
My daughter wanted to come.
Yeah.
And I wanted my mom to come. So being given the opportunity to bring 3 people to the garden party.
That was the thing.
That was it. I accepted that. And when the MBE arrived at my house one Saturday morning, a sergeant in arms came to say, "Dennis Bovell, Yeah, that's me. Handed over the MBE.
Yeah.
Salute and all that. I was like, bloody hell, it's real. I've got one. You know, and I've not regretted it because it's a society that I thought would open the door that I could ask some questions
Yes.
to people who were, for want of a better word, in control.
Yeah.
You know, and to be recognized by the palace
Mm.
for my
Contribution.
to music.
Yeah. Reggae music.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was flabbergasted. In fact, recently, Wandsworth Council approached me with an idea to put a blue plaque on the house that my father bought in 1968, where I lived for 30 years.
Right.
So I agreed.
Well, you got to.
Yeah. So
You
my
know,
grandchildren and my
As one have
great-grandchildren.
just got, you know,
Yeah, they can.
Smiley Culture's got one.
Yeah,
It's showing, because when you think about legacy and giving our children and their
Something to
children
be proud of.
something to aspire to or
Yeah.
to be proud of in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form, that they can look back historically and say,
my granddad did that.
yeah,
Or my dad did that. And in fact, being an MBE affords me the pleasure of having my grandchildren baptized or they're christened in St. Paul's Cathedral.
yeah,
You know, so I said to my son, I said, when your son is to be christened, we're doing it in St. Paul's Cathedral
Super.
style.
yeah,
You know, yeah. So it has its ups and maybe
downs.
its downs.
Yeah. But for Benjamin Zephaniah,
He didn't care.
and I
He didn't
understand
want,
it
I understand it as well. But
because he made sure that then the reasons why he refused it was published, and in the same way make a bigger statement
Yeah.
in some ways.
I'm taking it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love him for that.
Yeah. Benji was a very honourable friend of mine.
Yeah. So let's talk more about your production. We talked about Matumbi as Matumbi gathered pace, and I've written about Matumbi in the book. And when I think about Matumbi, they were the first British breakthrough artists or bands, really. You know, Steel Pulse was one, because we weren't happy that London had broken through without us in Birmingham. I'm ever so sorry, Dennis.
No, but listen, I will tell you that I was a judge at a talent competition held in Santa Rosa Club in Handsworth.
Right, yeah.
And among the people that entered that talent competition, and it was arranged by Cecil Morris.
Yes.
PCRL.
The great Cecil Morris.
Rest in peace, my
You know what I
brother.
mean? And he's done a lot. He
He brought me there
Yeah.
as a judge to see which kind of talent Birmingham had to offer. And I watched the whole show, and the first prize of the show, whoever won, was going to be afforded a day in the studio with me. Well, when Steel Pulse came on with Handsworth Revolution, if I had said they didn't win, I don't think I'd be here now, because I would have been strung up and tarred and feathered, right, in Handsworth, because they came on Handsworth Revolution, and the place was upset. So I proclaimed them winners and the ones that I was going to take into the studio to record, and we recorded Handsworth Revolution.
Yeah, I remember you were part of that.
Number 2 in the winners league was a man called Gladwin Wright.
Mm.
Now, I knew Gladwin to be the controller of the sound system, what is the sound system, you know, from Birmingham?
Gladstone Wright.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gladwin Wright was his name. And he was the DJ of Quaker City.
Ah,
He sang and came second in that competition. Then there was a young kid called Tabby Cat Kelly.
oh, what a
He
what a singer.
sang and became third. Well, I produced all three of them. Tabby Cat Kelly, Don't Call Us Immigrants.
Gee, what a tune!
Gladwin Wright.
Don't call us no immigrants.
Yeah, that song spoke volumes.
For a small wage packet.
Yeah, you know the tune. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Tabby Cat Kelly.
yeah.
I produced him, and then Gladwin Wright, who now goes by the name of Gladdy Wax.
Oh, small Gladdywax
Yeah,
with the white gloves.
that's right.
Yeah,
Now he came second, and I
because he was in Birmingham and he moved to London.
that was upon my insistence, because I said, look, Gladwin, if you stay in Birmingham and I stay in London, it's too far. Come to London. He used to come to London and sleep on the sofa in my house so we could go in the studio and record.
I did the same with Black or Dread.
There you go. Well, with Gladwin, or Gladdy, as
Yeah.
he's now known as, he came with a song called Portrait of You.
Right.
And the night we were recording that song, Janet Kay was in the studio, and I said, Janet, will you do some backing vocals on here? And she did that. I also recorded Errol Dunkley, Little Way Different, and got Janet to sing backing vocals on those two tunes.
Every man do his thing.
A little way different. Right. You know. So I was well in.
So tell me about the big song, Silly Games.
Well, once
And
I
who played on it?
Now, I needed a drummer who could understand soca, Afrobeat, and disco.
Right.
And the person I chose was Drummie Zeb,
The one and only.
the one and only Drummie Zeb. Because I remember when Drummie was about 15,
Yeah.
he was playing with a steel band called Metronome.
Yes.
Before Aswad,
Because Drummie is not Jamaican.
he's from Grenada.
Yes.
And I thought he would understand what I needed for the drum pattern of Silly Games, because that drum pattern was something that I had created in my head, and I could play it for 10 or 20 seconds, but I wanted someone who could play it for 4 minutes
Yeah, consistent.
and keep it steady.
Yeah.
And Drummie was my man,
Yeah.
because when he was a young drummer playing for the Metronome Steel Band, I had interfered with his learning process and said to him, you see this is the key for the drums. You can tune your drums.
Right.
And once I'd said that, he would tune his drums for every different tune that he played on, what key is it in, the kick drum. And I was like, formidable. You know, and so when I needed a drummer to play the drum pattern that I had kind of created for this tune that I wanted to do, first of all, he had to be able to play the hi-hat like soca.
Oh, gosh.
And he had to drop the snare like Afrobeat.
Yeah.
And the foot drum, disco. Do, 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 do. I sort of I showed him, I said, Drummie, this is what I want you to play. He went, whoa! And took to it like if it was him that created that. And I was very proud that I had created something that, you know, transformed itself to another player who could understand what it was about. And then I said, now, in the studio, I'm going to play the bass. You play the drums. There was just the two of us in the studio. He's in the drum booth,
Yeah.
playing drums. And I'm playing the bass. I said, now, when the bass goes, do, 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 that's the verse.
Yeah.
And when it goes, dum, do, 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 that's the chorus.
Yes.
So he'd say, yeah, run tip. And there was him in the drum booth and me in the control room, because I was also the sound engineer and the author. And I was trying to realize this rhythm that was completely different to any reggae rhythm. In fact, I had dreamt of it being the rhythm that would dethrone Sly Dunbar. My friend Sly Dunbar was a great reggae drummer. I said, yeah, but you hear this pattern here? No. And when we did it, and the next thing was that it had lots of chords. It wasn't just 2 chords, and it had a bridge and it had a chorus.
That's right.
And it had, I wrote it like a pop song.
Now listen, I want you to help me out here, because I seem to be probably the only one. When you are using AI, Suno, to build or to add to rhythm tracks, the difference with Suno, or the only thing with Suno, is that you've got to command it to do all these things.
Yeah.
And if you don't know them, you can't do it.
Absolutely not.
But if you do know it, you can build anything.
That's true, and you can progress
Yes.
it and make it something beyond your wildest dreams.
That's right. So I'm just cutting. I want you to come back to silly games, because I don't want to take anybody away from that.
All right.
But AI, where are we with AI?
Well, it depends on whether you've got the knowledge of how to use it to your benefit.
Yeah.
There's no point in just regurgitating what's already being done.
Yes.
If you've got the knowledge of something you want to progress your ability, it's there to help you.
Yeah.
Because
one thing I've done, I've built many songs in AI.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I've done is written the lyrics. That's where I start, writing the lyrics, and then writing what chords I want to use.
Yeah, but nowadays, right, they've got in the fine print that they're allowed to use your shit, and it's there as if they.
I don't mind if you know what?
No,
I really don't mind.
Well, you should, because it's a publishing issue.
I know that, but as long as I can publish it in the beginning, I'm okay.
Yeah, I agree. If you publish it first, then anybody who attempts to use it is actually plagiarizing what you've done.
That's right. And what people have got to realize about publishing and songwriting is that there's no point in writing a song and having it in your computer or on your computer and doing nothing with it. Yeah. You've got to put them out. You've got to publish
You've got to release them, yeah.
In the same way that you release a book.
Absolutely.
So the conference that we're doing, that's what it's about. It's about teaching people really in the reggae industry on how to make money and profit from their songs. Don't worry, Dennis, I'm not going to ask you about how much you've made.
It's common knowledge that I've made nothing.
I like that. Yeah. I'm cool with that. So going back to Silly Games.
So after I was satisfied with the
drum pattern and the bass line.
I said to Drummie, there's a part of the song where you go,
yeah.
boom, blah, 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 and I was like, I don't know, I think that's probably over the limit, because I wanted you to keep it straight.
Yeah, like a Ringo Starr would have done it.
Yeah, boof, buff.
Yeah.
But when I listened back to it, I thought, wow, that actually makes the song a way different than any ordinary reggae tune.
Yeah.
We'll keep that. And then after it was me that played the piano, the bass, the guitar, the synthesizer. Now that you know.
Right now, the synthesizer. When that came in, or the Yamaha DX7.
No, that was actually a SH2000.
Right, SH.
Roland.
Right, because Roland was before Yamaha.
Yes.
All right.
So that was Roland SH2000.
Okay. So when the SH2000 came in, and then the DX7, there was a lot of musicians that said, this isn't music.
Well, they were wrong.
Well, we know that now.
I knew that from the beginning. I thought, you can say what you're going to say. I'm using these to do what I want to do. And
I remember when I took Sweetie Ari, Tipperary, Peter Spence to Japan. And when we got there was a problem with our Yamaha DX7.
Yeah.
And those guys opened the Yamaha DX7 and they reprogrammed it.
Yeah, Clifton Morrison had the pattern where you could reset the logarithms in the DX7 to give you the sound of the Yamaha Mini Grand.
Yes.
You know, and in fact, when I was playing that synthesizer, it kind of took me back to when Barbados had its first FM station.
Yeah.
Now, I woke up very early that morning to hear CBC sign on, because before that it was Radio Fusion. You know, it was like piped radio.
Yeah.
You know, you could either put it up or put it off. You couldn't change the station. When CBC 900 came on air, the very first tune they played, I don't know what it was, but that doop, 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 doo, 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 kind of invoked my memory of the first thing I heard on CBC radio in Barbados.
So you used that melody.
So I used that melody. It wasn't that melody.
Or similar.
It was a similar kind of melody that it seemed to exude radio.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact, when much later my younger daughter heard Silly Games, and she also heard Aswad, Back to Africa, right? Where the synthesizer was playing, in the beginning of Back to Africa, right? So my Silly Games thing was dum 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 dum, which is the same notes but staggered in different, right? And my daughter said, "Dad, what came first? Silly Games or that?" And I went, "Well, Back to Africa was first." She goes, "You did a version of that, didn't you?" And I was like, "No one's ever asked me that, but you're right." You know, because on the tune, Silly Games, I had Drummie Zeb, member of Aswad.
Yeah.
I also had Janet Kay, who used to be a member of Aswad. And she sang on that tune, Back to Africa, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of, whether I knew it or whether it was just in me, that I kind of did a different version of that melody. Because theirs goes dum 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 dum, and mine went dum 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 dum, and the song had been written with that extra high note, you know,
because Janet could reach it.
She could go, and I had these two members of Aswad in there, and I had something that was...
Is that Tony and Drummie?
No. Drummie and Janet.
Right.
Because on Silly Games, all the other instruments are me.
Right.
Everything. Keyboards, the bass guitars. And I taught her the melody.
Like like Linda Lewis taught Tipper the harmonies on Hello Darling.
Right. Yeah, Linda Lewis is great, man. I call him the lamppost.
Yeah.
Because he's as tall as a lamppost.
Yeah.
And musically
yeah.
astute. You know, in fact, I had reason to speak to this lady from St. Vincent.
Yeah.
Who he made a record with.
Yeah.
And it got to number 1.
Judy.
Right?
Voucher.
And I said, Judy, the lyrics of that tune are not happening. Because how can you say to a guy, if my man wasn't here, I'd be with you? I said, if I was your man and I heard you singing that, I'd say, be with him then. You know. But
well, we know the one thing that I think men have got to come to terms with is that women think as they think.
And you can't stop it.
And women do as they do. And you can't stop it.
I know, I always say, I love women. My mother was one.
Yeah.
And my grandmother and all my aunties. Yeah, go with it. The other thing about Silly Games was I'd seen on TV an advert for the cassette tape Memorex.
Oh, gosh.
And Ella Fitzgerald, in that advertisement, sang a really high note. And then a glass broke on the table nearby. And I thought, it would be wonderful if I could have, you know, a kind of Ella Fitzgerald feel with that high note. So when it came, Silly Game, that was tribute to Ella Fitzgerald.
Right.
Right.
And some people don't realise when a producer is producing a song that they've got a vision for the song.
Of course. You have to have, otherwise it ain't a song. If you don't have a vision how it's going to end, you might as well not start it. You know, and in fact, when I sang the high note to Janet, she went, you could do that? I must be able to do that if you could do it. And she wasn't wrong. The thing was that once that song, people latched onto it. Once I did a gig somewhere, and a young lady came out of the audience and said that she was a supporter of Birmingham, the women's team, and that was their song, Silly Game. They said, we sing that at all the matches, and I was like, well, there's the thing. Because I've always been of the opinion that if your song can be adapted for a football crowd, you've made it.
Look at Liquidator.
Now, I was going to say earlier on when I was talking about us doing Group Clash in Pountney Hall, the song that we chose to play for that clash was Liquidator.
Wow.
And because we had a white keyboard player, it was like, oh, we're going to see this. You know, we did, and it went, the audience were ecstatic. They went, yeah! And it meant that we had won the group clash above Frank Bruno's brothers group, the Black Folks. And we had also borrowed his keyboard to play.
Ah.
Because our keyboard player...
Was it a Hammond?
No. It was a Farfisa.
Right.
Right.
A couple of steps down.
Yeah, but it was what we could afford.
Yeah.
Right. And the Frank's brother, right, Michael, when we finished, because of the reaction of the crowd, he went, give him up, and came and took it back from us, right?
Yeah.
But what had happened was we chose that song because to show off our white keyboard player, how good he was.
Yeah.
And that song kind of did it, because I don't think that they thought a bunch of lads from Battersea in London could play that tune, because it was new at the time and quite current, you know. So when we played that, we won the competition. But our keyboard player had a Fox Continental, where the black keys were white and the white keys were black.
Oh, yeah.
But he had a terrible school report.
Right.
And he'd stupidly hidden his report in the piano stool. And his mum played piano. So while she went into the piano stool looking for a piece of music to play, she found his report, which wasn't very good.
Oh, dear.
So the result was they confiscated his organ.
Oh.
So the only way for us to do this group class was to
borrow.
borrow the opposition's organ.
Right.
And when you played it so well there, Michael was like, give me back me.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that was the beginning of Matumbi.
Okay. I want to ask about sales and how the progression of sales, because in my book I talk about Johnny Nash coming to the UK,
Stir it up,
recording in Jamaica and coming to the UK and performing, and then Bob Marley supporting Johnny Nash.
Yeah, well, Bob Marley had written that song, Stir It Up, for him.
Yes, that's right.
And in fact, I have it on good, that when they went to France with Johnny Nash and they went to a publishing meeting,
Yeah.
that was when Bob Marley found out the meaning of publishing.
That's right.
Because there was a guy called Rob Hallett.
Dennis, tell us or tell the audience what is publishing. Very simply. Let's not go into too much detail.
One word, copyright.
Well, they don't understand.
That's
some of them might not
publishing is copyright of whatever it is that you've written.
And copyright is for those
the owner.
You, it's the owner. And on that computer over there, I've got songs. And because I've recorded those songs, and those songs have been paid for by me,
you have the copyright.
There you go.
So when they went into a meeting, Bob wasn't the most important person there.
No.
So he was left outside to wander around the publishers. And he's like, what's this? And Rob told him it was all about publishing and all that. And then Bob, I have it on authority from Rob, that Bob said, I'm going to write some tunes and come back and see you. That is why Rondor publishes quite a big section of Bob Marley's
catalogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Rob had it.
Okay, tell us, what is the difference between songs and catalogue?
Well, songs go to make up the catalogue if you've got a collection of songs, right? I mean, one song is not a catalogue. You got to maybe start with the first album to boot your catalogue, and then all the other songs that you've written or that you've created, that is your catalogue.
Right.
And it's catalogued by the author, and then the publisher.
Yeah.
Because the publisher wants a piece of that as well. I mean, in my early days, I was stupid enough to give Trojan Records 50% of my compositions.
Yeah.
As the publisher.
Because that's the most they could have got at that time.
Yeah. Now it's a lot different.
Yeah.
But in fact, one song that sticks to mind, a song I'd written for a singer called Marie Pierre, and that song's called Walk Away.
Yeah.
Now, I gave Trojan or B&C 50, they gave me 50%.
Yeah, because they wrote the
They are the publishers. And in later years, I came to realize that they owned 50% of the song, which was half of it. I had given Marie Pierre 50% of my 50%.
Yeah.
So we were both receiving 25% against the publisher's 50%.
Yeah.
You know, so that taught
Why
me.
should somebody receive how is a song best split up?
Well,
If I done the rhythm for a song that you sung on, for instance,
that would be 50-50, 50 you, 50 me.
right?
And then if we chose to have a publisher, whoever publisher was, it'd be up to you to accept the publishing rate. I mean, nowadays, I'm publishing my own material, so I own 100% of it.
Yeah,
Then if I want to get someone to administer
yeah,
the publishing, I can give up to 15% to that person
yeah,
for their work.
yeah.
You know, any more than that on your bike, Jack.
Because they're out there selling it. They're
That's
out there
right.
doing the work
Right.
like a manager.
Yeah.
So
That's justified.
for artists out there, what role does a good manager play in an artist's
Well,
life?
I would think that a good manager would get as much remuneration and notice for his artist or act as is possible, and as is respectful,
Yeah,
you know, because in the old days the producers took everything,
yeah,
and the artists hardly got anything.
yeah,
I mean, that was the crux of a lot of confusion, and in fact, a lot of artists coming from Jamaica to the UK to physically harm people who would call themselves the producer
yeah,
of stuff. You know, perfect example is my friend Leroy Smart
yeah,
for his song "Ballistic Affair." Someone had released it in England without his knowledge. So when he came to England, he was very angry with that person and did them physical harm,
yeah,
which landed him in prison.
yeah,
But I think it was, if you want to say that, it was justifiable. If someone just takes your thing, you don't know who they are, and they're selling it.
yeah.
You know, it tantamounts to piracy.
Well, it's called copyright infringement.
That's right, piracy.
Yeah, and for me, that's one thing that I was very clear about with the artists
If
that
you want to use something that I've written,
yeah,
credit me.
yeah, and then let us see the contract. And in order to understand contracts, it's a big thing because some of the contracts were 10, 12 pages long.
Well, I personally will never sign a contract because the first syllable of that word is con. Right? I'm more in favor of making an agreement.
An agreement, yeah. That's
So,
right.
All of my involvement with people, they say, we can have an agreement, but don't send me a contract because
Yeah.
I'm not here to be conned
Yeah,
and put in any track.
yeah. And I agree with that. I don't mind if it's called a contract, an
I do.
agreement.
Agreement, that means
well,
you and I agree.
I'm happy. I'm happy because
But you're not going to con
you know
me.
if somebody and I do something, I'm gonna agree the terms,
But it's an agreement.
and the terms are what we state at the beginning,
Absolutely.
and they last forever.
And no con.
Yeah. So you and I'll never have a problem, Dennis.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because we'll hold true to what we say we're
Yeah.
gonna do.
If you agree to do something, then follow it through.
Yeah.
But if you've been conned into doing it,
Nah.
right? Hello.
No. So, having said that, we move past silly games. Silly games becomes an overnight success.
Yeah. And a lot of
Number
rock
two
anthem.
number two in the national charts.
Absolutely.
How much did it sell?
Well, I got a plaque.
Gold disc or silver disc?
It was a silver disc
Right.
where they
I think a silver at that time was
was
60,000.
250,000.
Okay.
It said on the disc,
Oh no, it's 200,000 for an album, a silver disc. Yeah.
no, that was a single. And I was given a disc to commemorate
From the
sales.
BPI.
Yeah, sales of more than 250,000.
Right.
They didn't say exactly how much, but it was more than 250,000, which is $250,000,
Yeah.
right? So I thought, I'll take that. you're telling me it sold 250,000 until that date. Now, at the
By
moment,
Gallup. Yeah.
at that moment now, my lawyer is petitioning
Yeah.
for an update on how many it's actually sold since then until
Yeah.
now.
That's right.
I told her, yeah, go for it, because they only certificated it for the first 250,000.
That's right.
But that song's gone more than 8 million now.
That's right.
So it must be a platinum.
That's right. So that should be
Reassessed.
upgraded
Yeah, that's what my lawyer is saying.
to a platinum single.
And we're in the process of pursuing that at the moment.
Well, that's true.
It's fair.
Because as we know nowadays, singles just keep selling anyway.
That's right.
You can look at the streams on that song.
Yeah. In
So
fact,
therefore, you should be paid
accordingly.
Yeah.
Recently, some friends of mine came over from Sweden, a group by the name of Kaliba.
Yeah, I know Kaliba.
And I've always been in touch with them because my first work with them was in 1990, 91. And at the time we were about to do an album, my grandmother died. And they were fearful that I would forget about the production and go to Barbados, to be at my grandmother's funeral. And I said to them, I don't have to go. She's already gone, right? And she would understand that I'm working here with this, and the funeral's not going to be tomorrow morning. It's going to be in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we've got time to finish this album. And they were very grateful that I decided that I was going to stay there in Sweden with them and finish their album before going to my grandmother's funeral. Yeah. And just recently, a couple of months ago, I got a telephone call from them saying, we're coming to London. Okay, we want to see you. Let's have a meal and drink. And I know them Swedish boys can drink liquor. So I prepared myself and they arrived. And then they handed me a platinum disc.
Wow.
For more than 8 million streams of that record.
Yeah.
And greased my palm with some notes. Well, we went to a bar, and at one point I said, lads, I'm going home. So if I stay here with you, I'm going to have to be rolled home. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
Because I was feeling the Guinness mixed with Jameson's. We were doing shots of Jameson's and then a pint of Guinness.
And we're drinking Mount Gay.
I'll have a pint of Guinness later. And those lads were the lads that I played in that track with,
Yes.
the Swedish reggae. They're the oldest Swedish reggae band, right? And revered as. And I've been working with them since then till now, even. Every now and again they call me and go, Dan, we want a mix of this, can you? And yeah. And as a result, I worked with lots of Swedish reggae bands.
Yeah.
And in fact, the last horn section of my dub band, where I was, the musical director of Linton Kwesi Johnson, were a pair of Swedish lads.
Let's talk about Linton Kwesi Johnson.
Kwesi.
Kwesi.
Yeah. Kwesi means born on Sunday.
Right.
In Ghana, you're given the name according to the day you were born. So Kwesi means he was born on a Sunday.
Big up Mariah. Big up Tony.
Right. Now, my Ghanaian name is Kofi.
Yeah.
Which means I was born on a Friday.
And big up Chalice.
Yeah. So, Linton, being born on a Sunday, decided that his African name had to be Kwesi.
Yeah.
And I thought, great, lovely. At least there's some African in your, coming out. Yeah, in your lineage. And the fact that his lyrics were so powerful.
Goodness,
and
great.
So needed in our society.
And he wasn't fearful.
At all. And I wasn't fearful to forsake Matumbi for him. Because in Matumbi, we were like, I love you, Linton has never said baby. in any of his lyrics, and I think that's great. You know, he's always been the reporter
Yeah.
that depicts black lives
Mm.
in the UK. And in fact, I met him when Matumbi had gained itself the recognition of being able to play in the club Four Aces on a Sunday night without being booed off. Because the people that went to Four Aces in Dalston on a Sunday night were there to hear Cox and Soul.
Mm.
And the proprietor, right, Mr. Dunbar, had an obligation under his license to provide live music any night of the week, and he chose to do it on Sundays.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a
A
group
bit
that,
like FCF in Birmingham.
yeah, there was a group that had been on Huey Green's Opportunity Knocks.
Yeah.
And I was very wanting to see that group. And when I heard that they were going to appear at the Four Aces, I was there before the club opened, waiting to see them. After the third song, the crowd booed them off.
Wow.
Boo! Come on! Come on! Right? Because the singer was quite effeminately dressed. And so a lot of the people that went to that club, they didn't hold with that, right? It was like, hey, come off on the stage, boy, right? And Matumbi got the job of playing at the Four Aces on a Sunday night. And I said to the lads, I said, look, be careful, because that audience are intolerable of live music. They only want to hear the sound system. But I armed us with all the latest pre-release that Sufferer had. So we went on stage playing songs that had hardly been released, and the audience were like, mouth agape, and nobody clapped. But more importantly, they didn't boo.
Yeah.
We made it right through our whole set without a boo. No claps.
Right.
And when we finished it,
Yeah.
I just to say, get off now.
Okay.
Right. But they knew me as a part sound system man and a part group man.
Yeah.
So they had to have respect for what my group was doing. And we went on and played dub on stage and all that. And then we got the job of playing there any Sunday night we wanted. Linton Kwesi Johnson came to interview us about this phenomenon. And he said, what's your secret? You know, how comes you managed to do a whole set without being booed off on a Sunday night? And I said, well, we've learned all the latest Delroy Wilson, the latest Ken Booth, the latest Gregory Isaacs, the latest Burning Spear, because we used to do it in our show. Do you remember the days of slavery?
Wow.
And people would go, yeah. And I'd go, you lie, you weren't born. Right? And
I was at a dance on Thursday when I played Foggy Road.
Oh, wicked. The road is foggy, foggy.
Yeah.
We were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Burning Spear was a great inspiration.
To all of us.
Absolutely, to us all. And in fact, when I interviewed him on my radio show just after lockdown, he was going, boy, I don't know, the world get fun, you know. I don't know if me I go really perform again. I said, Mr. Rodney, you can't say that you're coming out of the game. You are the Burning Spear.
Yeah.
You have to burn the way through the forest.
Yeah.
And he went, why, I didn't even know. But I set him up with Alpha Blondie.
Oh.
Now, Alpha Blondie, I was part of the first recording of Alpha Blondie.
I got the chance to see Alpha Blondie when I went to, because at one time in the 80s, I used to go to, Tipper and I used to go to France every weekend.
Alfred's King there.
Lord.
Since his first song, Coco di Rock, Coco, Coco, Coco di Rasta, I was a part of the team. I started to work with Alpha Blondy in 1983.
Wow. Well, that was right.
And since then, I've...
So you were at the cusp.
Listen, I've produced, played bass, played guitar, sang backing vocals on a number of his albums, but uncredited. And I
That
said,
happens.
one time I said, Alpha, why don't you credit me for what I've done? And he said to me, Vous êtes mon arme secret, which means you're my secret weapon. And I was pissed off. I was like, you are Rasta, man.
Yeah.
And you have a weapon? A secret weapon? And the weapon is me?
Yeah.
Done with that. Right?
Yeah.
So
Him start.
I kind of resigned,
Yeah.
you know, from working with him. And my one thing was, I'll work with you again if you put my name on your record.
Yeah.
Because I can tell people, I worked with Alpha Blondy, I played this. He did an album called Dieu, which translates to God, right? Dieu, French. And the title track, Dieu, the other day, I listened back to it, I think, wait a minute, that's me playing bass. And it's a version of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Oh,
The Abyssinians, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? He changed the words in his translation to French. Chaque fois j'appelle upon Dieu. That means this time I'm calling to God.
Yeah.
You know, for the fight between Israel and Palestine and all that.
People don't realise that this fight, sorry to cut you, has been going on since 1979.
It's been
and
going
before
on
that,
for a while.
Yeah. So it's not something new.
No.
And that's what we need to remember about wars.
Yeah. It's old grievances.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to be back for the third installment and we're going to end this. Dennis.
Yes, currently.
Bless you, man. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Do you know that the Queen's doctor